All right, a very busy edition of Weather for Weather Geeks on this Thursday evening, 19th day of March. And it's kind of weather deja vu out there this evening. Similar timing to Wednesday evening. We have rain pushing in. Now, last night's rain added up to an inch to even close to an inch and a half in some parts of our television viewing area. I don't think rainfall amounts will be that impressive tonight, but still, we're going to get wet for a handful of hours. Rain pushing in as of 6:42 this evening into our area. It's mostly on the light side, but yeah, this is a pretty good slug of rain moving through Cambridge, Zanesville, pushing out of Columbus as of 6:42, and no thunder and lightning with this right now. I can't totally rule out a clap of thunder overnight. Certainly the risk for thunderstorms and severe weather is much, much higher tonight off to our south and west. Several tornado watches out, one covering parts of Iowa, Nebraska, northern Missouri, another down towards the lower Ohio River Valley, and another down into the Arklatex, the intersection of Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and parts of southeastern Oklahoma getting in on that tornado watch as well. So the Storm Prediction Center does have an enhanced risk from Arkansas up through parts of Indiana. Another one out here in Iowa and parts of Missouri. Enhanced risk is kind of a 3 on a 1 to 5 scale. Severe weather risk greatly decreases once you head eastward into the Buckeye State. Now, the day 2 severe weather risk covering Friday does include a low-end risk of severe weather, mostly a wind threat around eastern Ohio and western PA. So let's get into the details on what we can expect going forward. Rain will taper off, much like it did last night as we head through the overnight. But as we head towards daybreak tomorrow morning, I'm expecting showers to reemerge, and there may be some thunder and some local downpours within this at about daybreak on Friday. I don't think severe weather is all that likely at this point. But yeah, there can be some gusty winds and some claps of thunder for early risers on Friday morning. Then we'll probably get into a lull during the midday. That first wave moves through, and then we wait for the cold front. That cold front will push into northwest Ohio about mid-morning, putting it on track to arrive here around mid-afternoon. And as this approaches, we'll probably see a somewhat skinny band of showers develop. There may be some thunder with this, and this is the part of the day in which a severe wind gust and perhaps even an isolated spin-up tornado embedded in that band is going to be a possibility. This is, as I talked about yesterday on Weather Geeks, this is what we call a low instability but high wind shear environment on Friday. The instability is not through the roof at all. Nothing like we'll see a lot of times in the spring and summer. In other words, these will be low-topped showers and potential thunderstorms. These aren't the things that are going to get 50,000 to 60,000 feet in the air. The air parcels just don't have that much ability to rise with this situation. But there's a lot of wind shear, a lot of changing of the wind direction and speed with height, and that can lead to some low-topped convection that can bring down some pretty tough winds and also raise that specter of an isolated tornado. Things will quiet down in a hurry. Towards the end of the afternoon, it'll also cool off in a hurry. So this is the overall outlook. Now, in the impacts, I do have isolated tornado on here. It's like a 1 to 2% chance, but the chance is not zero like it is 350 days of the year, or maybe 345 days of the year. So it's worth a mention. It's nothing that I'm not expecting anyone to watch this video and say, Eric said we're going to have tornadoes tomorrow. That's not what we're saying at all. It's just something we can't rule out. It's a low end chance, but it's something we can't rule out in this type of a situation. I think 1 to 4 is basically the window in which we have the highest risk of gusts that will exceed 50 miles per hour and that isolated tornado chance. Independent of that risk tomorrow afternoon, it's just generally going to be windy on Friday. Even first thing in the morning, there could be some pretty impressive gusts. But especially as we get into the afternoon, I'm not going to rule out some higher gusts if we do get some of that convection along the cold front. So with that kind of a forecast, yeah, sure bet there's going to be at least some power outages. Now, is this a big power outage day where tens of thousands lose power? I kind of doubt that. But yeah, there could certainly be some power outages as a result of the wind. Not a result really of a ton of rain tomorrow. We're going to get some rain this evening, but the ground will get a chance to dry out a little bit as we go through the midday hours tomorrow. Now, we're going to spend tonight mostly in the 60s. Temperatures will rise this evening. We'll wake up tomorrow morning. It'll really feel like May in the lower 60s. But you know the story here tomorrow afternoon. We've got a doozy of a cold front heading our way. So as this front moves into our area, by about 2 p.m. or so, there could be a difference of 20 degrees across our TV viewing area. So pushing 70 in some parts of the area, and then falling through the 50s and even into the 40s as early as 2 or 2:30 up towards Mesopotamia. And then that cold front whoosh moves through, and by sunset, it's going to feel a lot different outside, with temperatures falling down into the 40s eventually, all the way down through the 30s into the 20s by daybreak on Saturday. It's going to be a quiet weekend weather-wise. I think we'll start the day with clouds, but then end the day with bright sunshine on Saturday. And for the 4th Sunday in a row, hardly a cloud in the sky on Sunday. We've had really nice Sundays lately. It's going to be a cold start, lower 20s Sunday morning, but middle and upper 40s later on in the day. All right, NOAA today put out their revised spring outlook, basically covering astronomical spring, which starts tonight at 11:50 p.m. So this covers the tail end of March, April, May, and June. And no surprise here, a continuation of the general idea that the large-scale pattern will not change in spring. It's something we've seen for quite a while now. Warm in the east and the south, southwest as well. And if we're going to have anywhere seeing below-average temperatures, it's most likely in parts of the Front Range of the Rockies and the High Plains. That's been the story for seemingly forever. It may be a pretty wet spring. We're seeing evidence of that in the March pattern. It's been a pretty unsettled pattern, and it'll continue to be kind of unsettled. And they have decent odds of wetter than average conditions in astronomical spring across a lot of the Ohio Valley, the Mississippi Valley as well. And I'm not going to show this graphically, but they did put out their spring river flooding outlook as well, and continued problems very likely along the rivers from the Missouri River and the Mississippi River into the lower Ohio River Valley, parts of the Deep South as well. Across eastern Ohio and western PA, they really don't have much of an outlook for us. A heightened risk is not included in their forecast for us as far as river flooding this spring. Just like every spring, we're going to have occasionally days where we get a little too much rain, and some of the particularly flood-prone areas, Eagle Creek in southwestern Trumbull County, Mahoning River in parts of Trumbull County especially. Some of the usual suspects, you're going to have your days where the river's going to run high, the creeks are going to run high, but in broad terms, the spring river flood outlook does not include any sort of unusual chance of river flooding in our area. All right, lots to keep track of weather-wise over the next 24 hours. We'll have you covered on air and online. Thanks for checking out this evening's edition of Weather for Weather Geeks.